time for small thinking is over. The time for trivial fights is behind us. We just need the courage to share the dreams that fill our hearts, the bravery to express the hopes that stir our souls, and the confidence to turn those hopes and those dreams into action. From now on, America will be empowered by our aspirations, not burdened by our fears, inspired by the future, not bound by failures of the past, and guided by a vision, not blinded by our doubts. I am asking all citizens to embrace this renewal of the American spirit. I am asking all members of Congress to join me in dreaming big and bold and daring things for our country. I am asking everyone watching tonight to seize this moment, believe in yourselves, believe in your future, and believe once more in America. Thank you. God bless you.
Trump to Congress. The time for trivial fights is behind us. President Trump used his first address to Congress on Tuesday to proclaim American greatness and push an ambitious agenda of economic nationalism, declaring, "The time for small thinking is over. The time for trivial fights is behind us." In a speech that combined his America First campaign themes with the first outlines of a legislative program, Trump opened the possibility of comprehensive immigration deal, pitched $1 trillion for Buy American, Hire American infrastructure spending, and said he would propose historic tax cuts. But first, he recounted his election victory, describing it as a quiet protest that became an earthquake. People turned out by the tens of millions, and they were all united by one very simple but crucial demand, that America must put its own citizens first, because only then can we truly make America great again, he said. Immigration has dominated Trump's turbulent 5.5 weeks in the White House, and Trump touted his plans to build a wall along the US-Mexico border and ban travel from 7 Muslim-majority nations. Trump is expected to issue an updated order Wednesday to revive the travel ban that has been blocked by the courts. It is not compassionate but reckless to allow uncontrolled entry from places where proper vetting cannot occur, Trump said. We cannot allow a beachhead of terrorism to form inside America. We cannot allow our nation to become a sanctuary for extremists. Trump described the threat in terms his predecessor never did: radical Islamic terrorism. But for the first time, Trump also opened a crack in the window to a comprehensive immigration overhaul, a goal that has bedeviled the past 2 presidents, calling for an Australian-style, merit-based immigration system that would favor middle-class immigrants to the country. I believe that real and positive immigration reform is possible, as long as we focus on the following goals: to improve jobs and wages for Americans, to strengthen our nation's security, and to restore respect for our laws, he said. If we are guided by the well-being of American citizens, then I believe Republicans and Democrats can work together to achieve an outcome that has eluded our country for decades. In previewing his remarks, Trump told a group of television news anchors that he might pursue a compromise immigration bill with Congress, possibly one with a path to legalization for migrants who are in the country illegally but otherwise have no criminal records. The time is right for an immigration bill as long as there is compromise on both sides, Trump said. But that language was missing from the text of his speech, which instead emphasized what Trump says of the economic benefits of strict immigration enforcement. By finally enforcing our immigration laws, we will raise wages, help the unemployed, save billions of dollars, and make our communities safer for everyone, he said. In recent years, congressional efforts to forge a new immigration regime have foundered partly because of objections to a path to legal status by many Republicans, and by many voters who supported Trump in last year's presidential election. The president's first speech to Congress also included a laundry list of policy proposals. Among the issues on Trump's list: health care. Mandating every American to buy government-approved health insurance was never the right solution for America. The way to make health insurance available to everyone is to lower the costs of health insurance, and that is what we will do. Tonight, I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare with reforms that expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time, provide better health care. Obamacare is collapsing, and we must act decisively to protect all Americans. Action is not a choice, it is a necessity. Taxes. My economic team is developing historic tax reform that will reduce the tax rate on our companies so they can compete and thrive anywhere and with anyone. At the same time, we will provide massive tax relief for the middle class. Child care. May administration wants to work with members in both parties to make child care accessible and affordable to help ensure new parents have paid family leave, to invest in women's health, and to promote clean air and clean water and rebuild our military infrastructure. Defense. I am sending Congress a budget that rebuilds the military, eliminates the defense sequester, and calls for one of the largest increases in national defense spending in American history. My budget will also increase funding for our veterans. Our veterans have delivered for this nation, and now we must deliver for them. Trump opened the speech by condemning recent hate incidents, including vandalism at Jewish cemeteries and bomb threats against Jewish community centers, as well as last week's shooting of 2 Indian men in Kansas. While we may be a nation divided on policies, we are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all its forms, Trump said. The address comes a day after Trump's team proposed a $54 billion boost in the defense budget, a 10% increase that would be financed by an equal amount of still undefined cuts in other government programs. In an interview on Fox and Friends Tuesday morning, Trump also touted an aggressive deportation program focused on migrants with criminal records. Asked about financing his plans, Trump said, "I think the money is going to come from a revved-up economy, thanks to reduced regulations on businesses." In any event, Congress will have to sign off on many of Trump's tax cut and spending hike plans. Trump's trip to Capitol Hill caps a heated start to his presidency. While facing mass protests and lawsuits over his travel ban and deportation policies, Trump has also used Twitter and the presidential bully pulpit to attack political opponents and the media. The friction often deals with ongoing investigations into possible contacts between Trump's team and Russians during last year's presidential election. Polls put Trump's approval ratings below 50%, unusually low for this early in a presidency. Hours before the event, Democrats and other critics were already attacking many of Trump's proposals, saying they will benefit the wealthy at the expense of working people he claimed to represent during his campaign. Read more. Rep. Collins sees only gratitude from Republicans for Trump's presidency so far. Trump says Obama is behind protests against him. Trump comes before Congress, a body he has largely bypassed. Such speeches are often visible reminders of the partisan divisions in Congress, and the 2017 version reflected a role reversal of the last 8 years. This time, Republicans stood and cheered while Democrats mostly sat mute. Sen. Manchin, DW, was the only Democrat to stand when Trump uttered his slogan, "Make America Great Again." But there were other signs of Democratic dissatisfaction. Few sought to shake Trump's hand. Democratic women wore white in honor of the women's suffrage movement. Many Democrats laughed audibly when Trump said he has begun to drain the swamp by limiting the role of lobbyists in his administration. Former Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear, delivering the Democratic response, accused Trump of picking a cabinet of billionaires and Wall Street insiders who want to eviscerate the protections that most Americans count on and that help level the playing field. "That's not being our champion," he said. That's being Wall Street's champion. As with previous presidential addresses before Congress, members of both parties brought guests to help illustrate the political agendas. Trump's guest list included people who have had relatives killed by migrants who were in the country illegally. Also in the presidential box, the widow of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, who died a year ago. Trump has nominated appeals court judge Neil Gorsuch to replace Scalia. Guests of Democratic lawmakers include migrants brought to the United States illegally by their parents and now at risk of deportation. Democrats also invited Muslims and refugees who could be affected by Trump's proposed travel policies, currently the subjects of challenges in courts. But the emotional fulcrum of the evening came in Trump's tribute to Navy SEAL William Ryan Owens, who was killed in an anti-terrorism operation in Yemen last month. With his widow Karen in the gallery, Trump credited Owens for being part of a highly successful raid that generated intelligence that will save even more American lives. Ryan's legacy is etched into eternity, Trump said, leading to minutes of sustained applause while tears streamed down Mrs. Owens' face. "He's very happy, because I think he just broke a record for a standing ovation," Trump said.